Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Sandy Merritt with Action Coach Bluegrass, where I'm a business coach. I'm a business accelerator. We help our businesses to grow. Joining me today is someone else who helps businesses grow. Brittany Murphy is the marketing director from One Thing Marketing. So Brittany, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Sandy.
So let's jump in. We know how important our customers are, and today we're going to talk about how to keep your customers coming back. So why do we do marketing? Marketing is an investment in buying your customers. So you really want long-term customers. If your marketing doesn't bring in customers, you're wasting your money. So let's make it effective and make sure that our customers keep coming back for more. So why do your customers leave? Why do you lose customers? It's pretty simple. They think you don't care about them. So here are some quick tips. Make time to update your social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or your website. I was on Facebook researching a customer that I was going to be talking to. Their Facebook page hadn't been updated since May. So how do people know if you're still open? Make sure that you're building your database, that you're asking for email addresses and phone numbers. And go ahead. Thanks for joining us. So go ahead and start building your database. Ask for those phone numbers. Ask for email addresses. Go ahead, if it's okay with your customers, send them text messages. Tell them what's going on with you. But here's the really important one. Talk to your customers. Chat with them. Learn their names. Learn their preferences. I mean, what's more welcoming than being greeted by name? Personal service wins every single time. So stay in touch with your customers. Let them know you care about them. Every customer is important. Treat each customer as if they were your best customer. So greet everyone, thank them for their business. Even if they don't buy anything, thank them for coming in. When someone walks in or when you're talking to someone, make sure they know what's going on today. What kind of special offers do you have for them today? You can also do some special events, and events don't have to be in person. They can be virtual. So things that are what I call closed door events, that's where it's by invitation only. So maybe it's just your best customers or a specific group of customers if you're introducing a particular product line and you know these are the people that will be interested in it. That invitation only really does make them feel important. Offer private parties. If there's a group that wants to come in and they want to be just a small group in there, offer a time when they can do that. And again, this could be virtual. It could be a number of people from a certain industry that you invite in. You can also, if you're doing in person and people aren't comfortable, have times when you restrict the number of people that are in the store, and that will make people more comfortable as well. And do a special event if you're introducing either new merchandise or a new service. And again, present that to your best customers. One of the other things you can do is celebrate birthdays. This goes back to that personal touch again. This can be with a coupon or a special gift or just an acknowledgement that it's someone's birthday. So the next thing I want to talk about is a referral program. Your good customers should be doing your selling for you. So a referral program is a deliberate and systematic way of getting people to make referrals to your business. It's often called word of mouth advertising because that's exactly what it is. It rewards existing customers for sending new customers to you. And it starts with having happy customers. They've got to believe in your product, in you. The reason you want to build referrals, it's a really inexpensive way to build your business. Very low cost to you, but can have significant rewards. All referrals must be acknowledged. And I want to distinguish here. You can reward referrals, but you don't have to. A simple thank you goes a very long way. If it's appropriate and you want to give some kind of reward, for everybody you refer me to, they get $20 off, you get $20 off. That's great if that makes sense for your business. But the important thing is just to acknowledge that referral. In today's world, we all read those online reviews before we make a purchase. It's just how we operate anymore. 10 years ago, this wasn't true, but in 2021, you better believe it is true. So how do you get those referrals and those reviews online? Ask. Ask your customers to do the review or give you the referral. But you got to make it easy for them. It may be a case of sending them the link or do it through an email, however you want to do it, especially if you can ask in person. Happy customers don't always remember to spread the word about your products or services. So you may have to prompt them. Hey, do you have any friends or family members or colleagues that might be interested? So if you prompt them, that may be what they need to get other people in the door. When someone gives you a review, always respond to it. Thank them for it. And if it's a negative review, by golly, jump right on that. Apologize. Ask what you can do to help. Turn that around. You don't want that hanging out there. And I'm sure Brittany will talk a little bit more about that. So a loyal customer is a profitable one. A small increase in customer loyalty can have a really, really large impact on your overall profits. So I just want to show you some statistics on that. Look at that number. 69% of consumers shop where they can earn rewards. And for restaurants, that number goes to 35%. So if you're asking yourself, do loyalty programs work? The answer is a resounding yes. Yes, they do. But it's important that you build trust. Your customers have to believe in you and your product and services. Look at that number. 52% of millennials are looking for quality over price. And your loyal customer, it may be a small purchase that first time, but if that same person comes in and buys that cup of coffee every single day for 5 years, do the math. It adds up. And if they're used to coming in for that cup of coffee, what else will they be buying from you? And how many other people are they going to bring in? So loyal customers really do pay off. And then this number also kind of startled me a little bit. 83% of us make purchasing decisions based on a loyalty program. And I started looking at my own spending habits, and yeah, I do it too. So I hope you understand a little bit about the why behind loyalty. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Brittany to cover the how.
Hey, everybody. So thanks for those tips, Sandy. They are really the broad basis of what everyone needs to be doing to kind of build that loyalty. So I'm going to talk a bit more about what things we can do with your digital marketing to actually accomplish that, build that loyalty and build that referral partnership that you want to have with your clients. So today I'm really going to kind of cover a few areas. So the main form I'm going to go about is really create what they care about. So I'll go a little bit more about that in depth. It's really more about the content, what things you're going to put in front of them that's going to be the biggest bang for them. The next thing is, because you're creating stuff that they care about, you're actually going to personalize this marketing and everything you do with it. So anything as far as video, social media, your website, all of this stuff, it does come back to personalization with it. Another way you can kind of personalize it is you want to have some type of process to stay in front of them. So you're personalizing, also creating this process to make sure that you're getting the biggest bang for your buck as far as keeping your customers back for you. And then as well, the last thing that Sandy did mention is we're going to talk a bit more about getting consistent feedback from your clients, how to do that. So therefore you can get the biggest bang for your buck even on that when it comes to it. So starting with the first one. To build loyalty, we want to create what they care about. So the biggest thing that I could find as far as a stat to talk about this is if you actually have better content on your website, on your social media, if you're a podcaster, video, anything of this nature, if you have great content, you actually can get up to 8 times more visitors onto your platform. So this is something where obviously we're trying to get new customers, but even creating better resources for past customers is what gets them to come back as well. So the easiest way to do this is writing helpful content for them. So the best way I describe to do this is if it's you that answers the phone or if it's someone else that answers the phone, tally up what questions are your customers asking consistently. So these questions are obviously your FAQs, your frequently asked questions about your industry. So if you're seeing that a consistent questions coming up over and over again, either you're answering it, your techs are answering it every time they come to someone's house, or your office manager who's scheduling appointments is asked these questions a lot, 9 times out of 10, that means these people are also asking this question straight to the holy Mecca God himself, Google. So they're typing in these questions and trying to find these answers on their own. So if you actually have those answers to those questions, provide them for them. This is a marketing tactic because it relates back to SEO. What I mean by that is you can easily create some blog posts that answer all of these FAQs about your business. What's the average price? What's the average time of installation? What should I expect? What's the process? Anything like these is obviously what people want to know before they're going to put any of their money away. And I think the thing we learned the most about kind of the craziness we went through with the past year is that people are going to be a little bit more careful about how they spend their money, just because we were worried that it might not always come in. So if you can help them break that barrier of discomfort and a little bit of miseducation because they're not sure what they're doing, the more you can help educate them and clear up any questions they have, the more likely they are going to be to buy from you. And then the second half of this that basically fulfills what this whole PowerPoint is about is that building that comfort with them and that trust obviously makes them hopefully purchase with you. But what that does is you built that relationship from day one based on providing them value. And that's what's going to want to make them come back to you, is because you provided that value to them. And they also were able to see you as an authority in the industry because you took that time to answer those questions and to have these resources available to them when they're asking for them. So you need to create the right type of content. And the other half of this is, how are your clients taking that content in? So I talk a lot about your website and all of the blogs and different content you can put there, but you can obviously have this information on multiple platforms. And so that's what I highly recommend for a lot of people is, so for instance, we're here doing a webinar because some people prefer to have auditory or visual cues to help them understand a part, versus they'd rather not read an article we had if Sandy and I had wrote how to make customers fall in love with your business. So you want to see how are they going to take a lot of that in. And that's probably why you see a lot of new podcast and video channels that are coming out, because people are taking in different ways to kind of gather their information. So a big way I kind of recommend to do this, and I hope I don't mention it too much in the future in the next slide, but all these different content types right here on the screen are kind of what I'm talking about. So a little tidbit is, let's just say you're out at a client's house and you're checking out the roof because you're a roof repair business. Well, you know, probably roof repair is probably more fun to see visually, before and after images. And even if you could film a quick video, maybe while you're on the ground, or if you're handy and not clumsy, but don't take my word for this, I could never do it. But maybe while you're on the roof, just take a cute, short little video explaining, what are you doing while you're up here? What does our inspection process look like? So how do we go about it? And just answer those questions for them. So you can post that on YouTube, you can post that on your social media, you could post that on your website. And so what that little video will do, it gives them a little bit of clues as far as, okay, someone's going to come, they're not just going to jump on my roof, but they check the corners, the seams, they check the gutters, they check the shingle status. They're doing all of this. Oh, wow, that actually is a lot involved. And now, because they see you do it, you've kind of created that trust with them. Okay, this is what I know they all look at. Well, I'm going to saw this other person and they didn't mention anything that they looked at. So how do I know if they're giving the same aspect of service as this other roofing company is? So think about that. And that's kind of where I love this list. A few things I kind of wanted to point out on it that I really do believe in would be beneficial is I love checklists, because a lot of people right now, they're stuck at home. So what should they be doing? What's the checklist to switch from winter to spring? What are those things they could be doing? The short rants. Now, you might not think this is a great thing, but this actually is a place you could show your personality and a little bit of humor. So I know we have Matt on, he does insulation. And so with that, maybe he could do a quick video while he's at a customer's house. Let's just say this customer that he's talking to right now previously had spray foam people come out and talk about what they're going to do with it. And they opened up a wall and they said, hey, this is how we're going to do it. And they told that to Matt. Matt looks at it and says, that is not my recommendation. That's not actually a good plan with it. It'd be better if you did A, B, and C. Now, he's helping the business owner out by telling them the difference in it. But this would actually be a good opportunity where he could create a little video and say, hey, you know, this is Matt, this is my installation company. A competitor of ours came out, and now that he's showing the screen of what they're looking at, he's showing their client's home. He says, they suggested to do this, this, and this. Well, if you do that, it actually will have this happen versus if you did it this way, it'll provide better insulation, it'll have a better warranty, and it'll last a lot longer because we're putting in these type of areas. Now, this is just a short rant because he's basically saying that there's better ways to do it. And this is an aggravation in our industry because other people don't spend that time and quality with it. This is why we're better and you should choose us. So it doesn't have to be that you're raging on somebody, but just kind of short rant, because that's what helps people know you're smart, you know what you're doing, and you're ahead of the game within your business with it. And obviously there's other content types out here that you can use that we've kind of talked about. We're obviously using a webinar, but the other great ones I love are case studies. So if you actually have a business where you can check before and after numbers. So even if we go back to this insulation example, well, what's a home? How long does it take a home to cool off not insulated? Okay, it will go from 80 degrees to 60 degrees in 5 hours. But after installation, it will stay 80 degrees for 5 days. 5 hours versus 5 days. Who wouldn't want that? So those are different things you can kind of show to kind of give them some stats and statistics that help people obviously understand as well why they should go ahead and buy from you. So just kind of relating that back to what we're talking about. People might have their purse strings pulled a little bit tighter right now, but if you can show the value of what you do and then obviously provide the excellent service afterwards, these are the things that really help build that loyalty as well. And then you share the stuff you've done afterwards to kind of help build that. So this is kind of the segment on how to create what they care about. Alrighty. So the next thing I do want to go over again is that personalization factor within this. So the biggest thing we want to do is you kind of want to make sure that you have all the stuff that you're creating is personalized to what they care about. So again, we're creating what they care about and we're personalizing it back to them. So a fun statistic for us is 78% of consumers are asking for more customized content. So customized is still the same as personalization. I do have a little example for you over to the left is we have a great client who had a great win that we saw, and they were very ecstatic about it, is that within the first 90 days of working with them, we were able to, in a sense, 100% their leads over increase. So what that means for us is because they were excited about it, obviously we're excited about it. So what we wanted to do is share a post about it. So a mess up we did is we did not tag the business in this post. So don't make the mistake that I did right here in this little example, but that's something where you want to share a win that they had. And so, and this is something where you can obviously, you're sharing their win, but it is a double-edged sword because it's beneficial for you too, in the sense of it's helping them because you're helping them. But in a second sense, you were saying a business you've worked with and you were able to provide these type of results. Or if you're a B2C business, here's some clients that had some examples here, and these are kind of the wins they had with it. So those are really kind of great things to do with it. And kind of what we were talking about on the last side of it is you want to repurpose all of this. So I do want to hit back on that aspect we talked about in the last slide, is repurposing your content for the right platforms people follow. So for example, if you know that a lot of your clients are looking up podcast channels, well then if you did that little short rant video, you can take the audio file off and post it somewhere there. But if you also take that video, you can, as these purposes, let's just say we had this video about the installation and how the previous company did not do a great job and how we would do it differently. Well, we have a 3-minute video on this. And so within that 3-minute video, you can post it to your social media. You can post it to your website. You could also add a little bit of a example transcript or a little bit of blog post to go with it. Or even just if there's an example page of how we operate. So if there's an About Us page, that video could easily go on there as well, because it still relates to what people are going after and trying to learn a little more about you and your expertise with it. Don't forget, you can also put these into email blasts. There's a lot of things that I am going to talk about in the next one, so I don't want to get into it too much yet, but repurposing everything you create, even if it's for your website, push it to social media channels that your clients are on, and push it to your email list as well. Not everybody's going to see every single thing you do. So if you're just posting this one video on Facebook, it's going to live its lifespan of maybe 24 hours and then just disappear until maybe someone hopefully finds it if they go back to your channel to kind of look for it. But if you're putting it on your website, it lives forever. If you put it on an email blast, well, then those who didn't see it on your Facebook can see it. Put it on your LinkedIn channel. Put it anywhere else you would think be very beneficial. But the biggest thing I tell people is, so I'm not a social media guru. I'm an SEO guru. So I would obviously recommend talking to someone for social media when it comes to it. But the thing you can do as well is ask. So ask your customers, where do you spend your time? Are you on social media channels, or are you surfing Google on the internet, or are you surfing on YouTube? Do you like more of the video type of content to answer your questions? And just ask them and just kind of see what their personalities are like. You can easily send out a 3-question survey to find out where people are and how much time they spend on these places. And the reason I bring this up as so important is because if you haven't noticed, even now, we're still all stuck at our homes, whether it be quarantine or weather related. We all are kind of stuck in these little areas. So we're gathering content in because we're bored. So make sure you're actually someone that's a content producer. So therefore, people who are bored, if they're freezing, now they can see, oh, there's this installation video. I wonder what this is about. And they learn more about it going from there. So that's kind of the biggest things when it comes to this. And as I said in the previous slide, you do want to celebrate these wins with them. So if you can, tag those businesses in different posts that you do, share these different things that you do, and just kind of have those stats and go with them there. So that is all the personalization and customization. So now I want to talk about, now that you know these things, what do you need to do to stay in front of your clients? And so the biggest thing that obviously I'm going to talk about on how to stay in with them is email marketing. So because we've been talking previously, you're going to be creating better personalized content, you should actually have better conversion rates. So the stat here, conversion rates are 6 times higher with better content. So just imagine with me this. You're doing the same things you're doing now. Let's just pretend you are spending, some time on marketing. You're actually not working in the business. You got some time to actually kind of pick up the marketing sector. Imagine if the exact same marketing you're doing could generate 6 times more leads for you, because it's better and it's more personalized and you're being consistent with it. These are kind of the 3 magic things that go in together to kind of create this magic potion of how to get people to kind of stay in front of you when it comes to that. So the biggest thing I like to talk about when it comes to it is you want to, again, give that helpful content and resources to them as much as possible. An example for this, because I know we all get bombarded with email marketing, and we might be scared that if we send out more emails, then people will unsubscribe, we'll lose clients, we're going to see negative effects from doing this. But I can't promise you, but I can almost guarantee that if you do this correctly, those who unsubscribe were never interested in the first place and aren't real potential buyers. So in the end, you're left with a more consistent list of people who actually want to be engaged with by you, because they're still interested. Maybe they're at the top of the sales funnel. They're still kind of doing some research. They haven't hit the bottom yet where they're ready to buy and call, but you're massaging them through this funnel is kind of the biggest way with it. So my example is, let's just take our installation company, for example, again, because I like that. So a good example of good emails to send, here would be my suggestions. I would at minimum send out monthly email newsletters. Some of you are already freaking out because you think that's too much, but I can promise you that is not that frequent when you consider some other places that you might actually get your own emails from. Because if you think about it, I'll use myself as an example. I sign up for newsletters whenever I think something might be of value to me. And so when I am on it, once I decide whether or not I'm never going to use this, or they're emailing me too much, I've only switched my mind to unsubscribe from them at that point, because they're no longer providing me anything of value that I found. So maybe I signed up for their newsletter because I liked some of the blog posts they had, but now what they're emailing me doesn't have any relation to that. So there's some different ways you can segment this, but sorry, back to the example of the insulation company would be, well, everywhere in America has had crazy weather except Florida. So with that being said, let's just say if you're an insulation company anywhere in America right now, why don't you send out an email blast? So you do some research for your clients. So you see that there's a big storm approaching. So you could write out email blast, because we can see this a couple days ahead. And just maybe in this situation, you would have an email blast sent out to all of your prospects, past clients, anybody. And in this email newsletter, you're going to have a few things. So one, the first thing is a resource. The resource is what keeps your clients, your prospects, your email list subscribed. The minute you change off and you're no longer giving them anything of value is when you're going to see the more unsubscribes happen. So my example would be, if you can see that this weather was about to get turbulent, schedule out an email, and you can make these in just a couple hours. So you could send one out the same day if you just dedicate the time to do it. But let's just say there is a storm brewing. You could write out an email that says, we're based in Kentucky. So you could say, Kentucky expected to have up to 6 inches of snow, what to do? And so now I see this email subject line that is informing me about weather in my area. Thank you, because I don't always check the app to see what's going on. And secondly, I can see the end of it says what to do. Okay, well now as a homeowner, I need to do anything different. I wasn't aware of this. Okay, so now I'm opening this up. So I'm already engaging with the newsletter, but that newsletter maybe has in it a quick video or that checklist. Hey, 6 inches is going to happen. Here's what you should do. Open your cupboards where pipes are. Maybe leave your sink faucets dripping a little bit. Make sure to turn off your outside water. Put faucet covers on. All of this list of things that, I've had my home for 5 years now. So I've done some of these things before, but you reminding me and also telling me in that time frame of, hey, this is about to happen in 2 days. You need to make sure these things are done, is such a huge resource that I would appreciate you more, because hey, maybe someone else sent me this, but maybe your list has something different. And I don't want to have an emergency situation at my home. No one with 5 degrees weather wants their furnace to go out or their hot water to stop. So we all are looking for these type of things. So with that example, you can actually give them things to protect themselves. Now, because you had a resource in this email, they're appreciating you. But again, everybody scrolls through these emails if you at least can catch them in the beginning. So after you give them that resource, this is your time to shine. So do you have a special offer right now? Do you maybe have free quotes you could give out? List something there. So if they're engaged with what you said there, give them a little bit of offer and then share something else with it. So what are you doing right now that maybe, do you have a client win? Do you have one of those video rants you did? Do you have a webinar you've done? What other resource do you have where maybe you could put it in there? So you're giving them a little bit of things to choose from. So as long as that subject line got their attention enough to open the email, you now have a chance to, again, start with the resource, give the people what they want is the biggest thing I'm going to say. But after that, this is your chance to kind of advertise yourself, because they've read enough where they believe in you and trust you enough that they're still scrolling. So at that point is where you can add these things in, is really kind of the biggest thing with it. And so again, to kind of touch on this, frequency is all based on the quality. So our company actually sends out weekly. So we send 1 time a week, max of 5 emails out a month. And it just depends on if we have extra webinars scheduled or any other resources we want to send out. But we do have, at least on a strict schedule, we want to send out 1 email a week. Now for us, this is the best type of frequency, because as a website SEO company, well, all we do is create content and resources. So this is what we do day in and day out. So we have the actual resources to keep pushing to our clients. If you don't have that, then maybe you should narrow it down a little bit, but I would not go further, honestly, further out than one time a month. So I did talk to someone who wanted to do one every other month or one a quarter. The problem is that is too long of distance in between those emails. Customers are going to forget about you. So let's just say if, again, we're on the insulation company, if you did not send out an email, so you sent one out in November and things got busy and you didn't want to send out one until March, well, you kind of missed me on my pain point season. My pain point season is my heaters running all the time and I'm just blowing money on my heating bills. So you missed me during this peak time of when I'm interested in it, versus had you been more consistent, that would have helped me more. And kind of the opposite side of that, well, again, I work with a lot of trade businesses. So I do have like a lot of HVAC companies, and there's that nice time between springtime and fall that they are bored, and ready and looking for work. These are still great times that even though you're not busy, you want to be consistently sending out these emails. And this is the great time to either work with someone like us so we can create this content for you, or if you have someone internally, have them start writing out these FAQs, putting this into words. And so therefore they can actually start to segment out these different emails. So maybe there's an email for past customers where you're giving them resources, but maybe you're also adding those referral fees that Sandy talked about. So you're telling them about the referral program you have because they've already bought from you, versus you can segment your prospect list. So that way they still get that resource article that's in your newsletter, but instead of talking about referral fees, you're talking about offers to get them into the door so they can buy from you the first time. So again, even those downtimes when business may seem like nothing's picking up, this is actually the best time to gather up all of your resources and schedule all these emails out so you can be consistent during the times that you're busy. But also, just like right now, I am sitting in my home, locked in is what I feel like. So I am 100% available to get any and all emails and communication that people send out to me. So therefore, send it to me now. Obviously, I'm reading everything I get. So if I'm at all interested in pursuing to do this with my home, to maybe get an HVAC inspection and this closer to the spring for my air conditioner, well, I'm going to go ahead and gather them like, ooh, I really like this company because they're already doing this, you know, and they're sharing their reviews and everyone seems so happy with them. Why wouldn't I choose to work with them? So these are all the kind of things, in a sense, you have to do consistently to kind of make sure you're staying in front of them, to make sure you're getting the biggest bang for your buck. If you're going to create all of this content, repurpose it and make sure you're consistently, with the different ways you repurpose it, putting it out there consistently as possible. Okay, I know I've overloaded you a bit, but this is my last tip, I swear. So the biggest thing as far as this last point is you have got to, in order to build these loyal customers, you've got to ask them for feedback. And when I say ask for feedback, it's not just, hey, you know, could you give us a review? That's great. Those reviews, yes, those reviews, 100% as an SEO person, I back them up. They are great to get. Please, please, please keep asking for it. But when we kind of come back as well, just the whole mentality of how to build that loyalty with our customers, ask the question of, find out, why are they leaving? You know, if they're unhappy, find out exactly what happened. But the other side of it, why are your clients staying? So if you have someone that has taken you up on multiple offers and they've purchased from you multiple times, they are that person you need to ask the most. What makes you keep coming back? What do you like about us? And those answers are what probably, in a sense, they're not just one-off person. There is a target market that probably feels very similar to them. And if you know that this person is the ideal client you want and they keep coming back and back and back, figure out how to multiply that client. So the biggest thing to be, what's selling them? What are they like? What are they liking about this? And now we can create this whole segment of what this ideal client is and make sure we're providing, as we said, all that great content that responds to them well. So now you're creating this more of a niche base that is consistent because they're the exact same person. So you know day in and day out how to deal with them, how to communicate that with them, and what appeals to them when it comes to marketing. And maybe this might be where, if you have a referral program, these are the ones that would take the most advantage of it. And again, be your best clients because they are doing this. My little picture here to the left is just an example. So from our website, we actually have a how did we do page. So we ask all of our clients at the end of the day, how did we do? How did we perform for you? And as you can see, simple thumbs up, thumbs down button. So what this allows for is if they say thumbs down, we can actually get the feedback immediately from them. Hey, this was great, but, I wish I would have had a little bit more email communication, even if there was anything going on. I just like to know that, you all still knew I existed, whatever it might be. And you say, oh, well, thank you for that feedback. We'll definitely incorporate that to our next time. We appreciate it. Is there anything we could do for you now to fix this, remedy to this? And they might say, no, I just wanted to let you know that I loved everything, but I would prefer just maybe a few more emails, or maybe I prefer text messaging over emails as far as customer service. Well, this is a little tidbit that you can learn, what to do, and you can kind of, again, make changes from it. But at the same time, now from this person, okay, so if we would have changed this, anything wrong, you can turn that negative into a positive review because you can change these things. Just as Tina said earlier, if you do get a negative review on Google, you need to respond to it as much as you need to respond to the positive ones. We offer reputation management. If you're a person that needs to grab a beer or a bourbon before you write back to that response, then you probably should just hire a company like us to breathe for you and write that professional response out. But you need to, because people who are not your clients yet need to see that you're being responsive online to these reviews, whether they're positive or negative. And honestly, it does a lot more for you if you respond to the negative ones, because I tell everybody, and this is my one example I can shine for with ever, is my last name is Murphy. Bad things always happen. I'm used to it. So you know what I do now? And thank goodness for online marketing. I can go to a business, I can look at their reviews, and I just look at the 1 stars. And that's all I do. I want to know what the negatives are, because most likely one of these are going to happen to me. It just works out. But if I can see all the few ones, again, I don't want to pick a company that has a lot, but if they have a couple ones, which everybody does, there's always a negative Nancy out there. But if I can see what the client said and then what the actual company responded as, that's where it'll take the turn for me of whether or not I will call that company. If they try to make amends and say, would you please call this number? Here's our direct line. We want to fix this for you. That's not the quality that we stand behind. Okay, well, if I can see the business owner responding that way, then I know should anything happen to me, I can let them know and they're a company that's going to take care of it for me. So it is very kind of important to kind of put it on there. The other side of this is reviews are hard to get. We know this. Feedback is like pulling teeth for some people. Trust me, I get it. That's why we create a service to try to get more people to do it for you. So the biggest thing I would suggest is ask for it often and ask for it in multiple places. So the biggest places I say is you can ask on your social media. You can ask on your website like ours is. Put it in your emails. So after you finish business with a client, send them this email and just say, hey, how did we do? What are your thoughts? And then from there, you can kind of have an open dialogue where you can understand, were they super happy? Okay, well, hey, here's our Google link. We would appreciate it so much if you could leave us a review. Or if they said something negative, you have a chance to actually go through this with them and answer those questions for it. You can put it on invoices, email signatures. All of these places are absolutely perfect to have everything with, because the biggest thing, again, you just want to open up this dialogue, because it's getting reviews, which will help for SEO. It'll help for your brand. It'll help for getting more business. But these reviews are actually going to be somewhat what you're going to use internally. Do you need to change any process or structure based off these reviews to build a more loyal client? And maybe you're noticing that from asking for feedback for the first time, you're actually seeing that people are saying, I wish I could refer you. Like, I wish I could get credit for this. I'd be more willing to give you out if I knew this or that, or any of these things. It's all basically we're trying to find out information that as business owners, we think we know, but we really don't know. We've never been a pure undercover boss at our own companies, I'm sure. None of us have had the time or the budgets to do that, and the time to put on all the makeup to pretend you're someone else and your employees not know. But that's what it would have to take for you to fully understand what the process is like on a client side. So you want to ask for that feedback as much as possible. And the thing I will mention, and you can take this with salt as much as you may, but I do believe people are a lot more sensitive right now. We've been through a tough time. We're all going through a lot of things. We're all dealing with our own struggles. So within that, people actually, you actually ask them honestly, hey, like, how did we do? Like, we really are trying to provide you a value. We know things are tough, but we want to provide you a great service. People are going to appreciate that so much more, because it kicks in that personalization, and it makes them feel as if you do value how they saw you. And, it obviously adds up to them, because I will tell you this, I think that if it keeps going this way, if you don't do it, people aren't going to recommend you. They're not going to trust you. They're not going to like you, because you didn't cater to their needs that they had at that moment, which is we all kind of want a little bit more feeling like we're special right now, because all of us are stuck at home, so we don't feel special on that side of it. So my biggest process I tell everybody is if you are anywhere in the trades businesses, then your tech who enters the home should be the first person after the service is finished that asks in person for a review. Now, asking in person helps a lot more. So if a client can fill it out right then at their home computer, that's perfect. That would be the optimum prime solution for you. But if they can't, make sure someone is still asking in person, whether it's the office manager afterwards that just makes a phone call after the scheduled visit has finished, just to kind of, hey, how did everything go? Are they all cleaned up? Are you good? And you can kind of get some feedback from that person there to understand whether or not they're happy. And if they, obviously you could tell they probably give me a 5-star out of 5, then go ahead, when you can see they're happy, ask them right then and there, hey, would you mind leaving me a review? Again, just incorporate that verbal ask for, and then afterwards, all these other places that you're going to incorporate it at are those secondary asks. So when you send the invoice, there's that link there. When you send out your emails, it's in that email signature. If you roll over this prospect into your past client list on your email newsletter blast, then ask them there as well. And you can just kind of keep asking them. And honestly, we kind of say there's between 7 to 10 touch points you have to do sometimes to kind of get that to actually happen. But that's how much you have to be consistent with even getting these reviews to make sure that you're actually learning as much about your business as possible. And especially with this, you're going to learn a lot more about if you need to have any type of changes within the business that you did not know about previously. And I think we're all going to need to incorporate this a lot more, because there's going to be a lot of changes we're all going to have to do to make sure that our businesses stay up and keep doing well as small businesses in the environment. So these are all the things I would say at the end of the day. I would incorporate all these 4 elements in to make sure that you are getting the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to marketing. Because at the end of the day, yes, we want you to get new clients, but we want you to keep who you've already serviced. So therefore, they can be that extra extension of your business to get you more business in as well. Just as the stat that Sandy said the previous time, if a 5% increase in loyal customers could increase your profit margins by 25%, that is dramatic. Just providing the extra few, like the few things here and that extra amount of service could increase your business by a quarter. That's saying a lot. So I think these are all things right now we do need to look into, because people are a little more sensitive. They need a little more attention, time, and personalization. So these are all great things to incorporate to your business that solve both needs. It gives you the feedback and the results that you need. And it also makes your clients feel even more in love with you, because they're seeing exactly what they need to see, and they're learning everything they need to know about you to feel trust and happy with their purchase before and afterwards. So that's all I got.
Thanks so much, Brittany. So let me go on to our next screen here. Before we take any questions, I'm going to leave these screens up here because Brittany and I are each offering a 30-minute strategy session. And this isn't exclusive. You can talk to both of us or one or the other. I just want to explain a little bit about what I would do in that strategy session. A lot of the business owners I work with, they really aren't clear on what their marketing message should be. What product should I be featuring? Who's my target market? Is my pricing, does that make sense? What kind of marketing should I be doing? What is my message? And that's the kind of thing that I can help you with. And then Brittany, why don't you talk about what you would offer?
I'd love to. So for our free 30-minute strategy session, what I dig into the most is your physical online assets that you have. So I actually do a little bit of a website audit before our meeting. And really during this time, I'm just going to understand your goals as far as what you have done with marketing and where you want to see sales grow after that. Because obviously what you're doing marketing wise right now isn't getting you where you need to go. So what I do from our conversation is pick out the strategy that's going to get you from point A to point B. So if your goal for 2021 is to increase your profit margins by 25%, well, then that's the strategy I'll base off of it. And I base it off of where you are today, just seeing what we kind of see on the internet with it. So mine is going to be more on the side of the website and the search engine optimization results that I see to kind of help get you more visibility. But we can also look at stuff as far as if you do have a struggling time getting more Google reviews, I would be glad to talk to you about that. That is a service we offer. Or if there is just some things that, email marketing or different things that you just kind of need some help or advice with, we do offer consulting as well. But during the strategy session, we're really going to pinpoint the priority things you need to do to, again, get to point A, point B.
So at this point, I want to open it up for questions. You are welcome to use the chat or take yourself off mute. And while you're thinking of your questions, I have one for you, Brittany. You mentioned videos. And a lot of people are very hesitant to do a video. When you talk about a video, what are you talking about in terms of length of a video that should be posted, say, on social media or on your website?
Yeah, so I would say a sweet spot for social media is kind of that 90-second mark. And a lot of times what I think are it's a lot more easy. I think a lot of people are kind of expecting it should be. So, and that's where I said, even just grabbing your iPhone, I mean, trust me, those cameras are like real videographer almost style, but just easily just maybe just saying what part of the process you're on today. So again, if I kind of take back that like roof repair company, so maybe they just do a quick 90-second video of what does an inspection look like for us? Here's how we do an inspection, and here's all things we're looking for. Well, just a quick hitter video. I'm sure someone could talk for hours and hours on a roof inspection potentially, but if you know your target market, they just want to get to the basic facts of it. So that's where I give you super short, super simple with it and go from there. So those are great B2C examples. I would say a good B2B example, something I'm actually going to try to start doing is I'm just going to be on Zoom, just me, and I'm just going to share my screen. So maybe for me, it would be a good 90-second video for me to make of what goes into a website audit. And so I can just share my screen, say all the places I'm going to go and check out, and here's the tools I use. You know, I look at these metrics and then I look at your competitors over here, and this is how I kind of base it off of. So even that could be super short and very helpful with it. So it doesn't have to be long. I think is more for videos. It's better just to have quick answers to questions. I'm not a big fan of, you know, you don't have to have the perfect photoshopped intro video. Those are great to have, but you only need a few of those. The things you want to do consistently, they can be these raw videos. It's just you showing something. And honestly, maybe because I work with home trade services all the day, I love these videos, but I love it when any of our guys, I can see on their Facebooks, it's just one of them is in a crawl space, just kind of showing, hey, here's how tight it is. You know, like this is what we do. This is what a crawl space looks like. And none of us homeowners really want to go in our crawl space, but we're kind of interested to know what it looks like. So we're going to watch this. You know, we're intrigued by it. It's, you know, like even Dirty Jobs. Sandy, you remember that show, Dirtiest Jobs in America? Yeah. Like even doing short, quick hits on that. It's all stuff that it can show your personality. It can show your business. It shows a lot. And that's kind of where it doesn't need to be perfect or edited. Just short 90-second videos, I think are spot on for social media or even for like your email newsletter blasts.
Okay. And I'm going to add my tip to that. If you're recording on your PC or even on your phone, go ahead and put together a Post-it note with the bullet points of what you want to talk about. And I put my Post-it note on my monitor that's right next to my camera, or I can put it right on my phone. And that way I'm reading my notes, but I'm looking directly at the camera and nobody knows it. So maybe that will be useful for someone.
I think it will. And even if that could be like one of those quick rant videos, Sandy, it could be, you know, hey, I talked to the business and we were able to do this, and this is how dramatic that change could be. So it could be a short, quick, simple one, but it could just be of you talking. I mean, we're all obviously listening to podcasters, so we're just listening to people talk without seeing them. So it still can work on the same concept of your social media posts. It can still be you talking. And honestly, people love hearing from the businesses. I mean, social media is all here to create that community and that engagement side of it. So the more you can kind of incorporate that, show yourself off, show a little personality, you're going to get a lot higher engagements from those than you would if you didn't kind of incorporate that side of it.
I haven't seen anything else in the chat, so I don't know if there are any other questions or if anybody else, I haven't seen anybody raise their hand. So if you do think of questions after we end this, by all means, shoot us an email or give us a call. We are in the business of making your business grow. That's what we do. So use this as a resource. That's why we're doing these webinars. So, Brittany, do you have any closing remarks that you want to leave with people?
I do not. The only thing I was going to say is if you take one of us up, you should probably take the other. I do believe that even if I can drive you more business to your website, you need to have a good business plan in place, because more leads does not solve every problem. There's going to be a lot more problems that happen after that, and vice versa. So these really do kind of go hand in hand. You really do need to think about the business. Even if you're just looking to grow, there's going to be stop points that are going to happen. So just kind of make sure you think about those and plan ahead, because even just 30 minutes with Sandy will help you plan ahead where you know, hey, maybe it's August. That's when I really need to talk about this, because this is when this is all going to happen. Just educate yourself. So that's the biggest thing we can all do, and share your education once you have it. It's probably the other thing. That's good content. And if you ever are on LinkedIn for any amount of time, you're noticing a lot of the posts nowadays people are putting out there is things that they learned, and now they're just sharing it. And it's probably stuff that some of us we do know because it's humorous, and stuff we don't. And so both of it kind of, it all blends together as far as really good content for a business to use to kind of keep that engagement up and build those people to keep coming back and checking to see what they're doing.
So I guess my bottom line is marketing is not an expense. It is an investment. But like all your investments, you really want it to pay off and do well. So make sure that the marketing you're doing is going to be effective. Use your money wisely. You're going to have to track and measure how you're doing on each of your campaigns or what it is you're trying to do. So have a good, solid plan in place, and then measure the effectiveness. And when you do that, you're going to build very strong, very loyal customers that are going to ultimately add to the profitability of your business. So if there aren't any other questions, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I see a little bit of sunshine outside my window. It's very, very cold here in Kentucky today, and lots of snow on the ground. So wherever you are in the world, I hope that you stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, and I wish you great success with your business. And Brittany and I are standing by to help with that success. Thanks, everyone.